Once upon a time, there lived 6 blind men in a village. One day, the villagers told them, "Hey, there's an elephant in the village today." The blind men had no idea what an elephant was, so they decided, even though we would not be able to see it, let us go and feel it anyway. And all of them were guided to the elephant, and every one of them touched it where he stood. "Hey, the elephant is a pillar," said the first man who touched his leg. That would be the elephant's leg. "Oh no, it's like a rope," said the second man who touched the tail of the elephant. "Oh no, it's like a thick branch of a tree," said the third man who touched the trunk. "It's like a big fan," said the fourth man who touched the ear. "It's like a huge wall," said the fifth man who touched the belly. "It's like a solid pipe," said the sixth man who touched the tusk. They began to argue about the elephant, and every one of them insisted that he was right. It looked like they were getting agitated, each blind man wondering how the others could be so stupid. Each believing he had the truth since he felt it with his own hands. A wise man happened to pass by, and he saw this. He stopped and asked them and said, "What's the matter?" They responded, "Well, we can't agree what the elephant is like." Each one of them told in turn what he thought the elephant was like. And the wise man then calmly explained to them, "All of you are right and all of you are wrong. The reason each of you is telling it differently is because each one of you touched a different part of the elephant. Each of you has a partial truth. The elephant has all the features each of you described, but it isn't fully what you described unless you combine all your answers." We've probably all heard some version of that little parable before. We've heard people refer to the blind man or the blind men touching the elephant, and everybody has part of the truth, and you have to put it together to get the whole picture. And this is a really good lead-in to the topic that I'd like to cover this evening, and that is systems thinking. As a matter of fact, it's resolution number 11 in Orrin Woodward's book, Resolved. Number 11 out of the 13 resolutions. It's toward the end of the list because it's so important as it builds on all the other resolutions that have gone before. And systems thinking means that you get beyond thinking that you have the whole truth with just what you can perceive in the moment or through your limited senses or perspective. Have you ever known someone to be passionately ignorant about something of which they didn't have all the information? It's one thing to be ignorant. You can't help what you don't know, but it's another thing to be passionate about your ignorance. Not about your ignorance, but passionately ignorant. That you don't know, but you're just sure that you know what you couldn't possibly know. You know? And that's the little story here. That's kind of what it leads us to. Systematic thinking is thinking that considers the whole subject of something, all the connected parts, all the unseen ramifications. This is very easy to explain, I think, but it's difficult to do and to train our mind's eye to see the bigger picture, to see the unseen ramifications. And you might think, well, what does this have to do with my personal success? What does this have to do with me digging out of my financial problem or repairing my relationships or rising higher in my company? It actually has a lot to do with it because we are imperfect people, which means we will have imperfect finances, imperfect relationships, imperfect plans and strategies, imperfect backup plans and strategies, imperfect plan A, imperfect plan B. And so we need to have a better understanding, better sight, so to speak, to see all the hidden things that play into the picture. If we don't, in any category, a relationship, finances, a structure, a business, a corporation, we're going to have some problems as a result. The economist Henry Hazlitt said this: "The art of economics consists in looking not merely at the immediate, but at the longer effects of any act or policy. It consists in tracing the consequences of that policy, not merely for one group, but for all the ages." And he went on to say that the most frequent fallacy by far today, the fallacy that emerges again and again in nearly every conversation that touches on economic affairs, the error of 1,000 political speeches, probably more than 1,000, the central sophism of the, quote, new, unquote, economics is to concentrate on the short-run effects of policies on special groups, and to ignore or belittle the long-run effects on the community as a whole. That's a lot of words to say that a lot of error is made when we assume too much, having too little information. It's true at the national political level, the national socioeconomic level, and it's true at the individual personal level too. What he's talking about here is systems thinking.